Okay. Hey guys! Lovely to see those of you who are here bright and early. Just a little stream as per usual. I am joined by a man who is soon to be appearing in a balaclava at the end of your bed. And of course, my
You
good friend.
fucking spoiled it now, you twat.
Don't ruin the surprise.
Stop.
Yeah, so as not as always, but as usual, and inevitably, I'm joined by Andrew. How you doing, Andy?
Okay. That when you said as usual or inevitably, it sounded like and Andrew's here as well. For fuck's sake,
Yeah.
he sort of forced himself upon me like he does with a lot of people.
Well, yeah, I think a lot of people have said Andrew Burkett has forced himself upon me. That's sort of a line muttered throughout the northern counties a lot each day. But
we've got a few people. Piper's here. I can't remember Piper being in a recent stream, but thanks for joining us. And Brody, Terry, Judith, Amelia, hello. Just in case you're not aware, as I'm sure you are, I've just put a message in the chat, and you'll be able to subscribe to my new channel there if you haven't already.
If you haven't, there's also a link in the description.
Eight subscriptions on your channel now.
Yeah, well, there's. I put the link to your channel in the description, so you don't need to go around soliciting yourself to everyone trying to.
I couldn't not. It's the title of the stream's called Andy's Got a New Channel, so I've got to mention it.
Well, no, exactly. We're working it. So basically, Andy's back. If you're not familiar with Andrew's work, he takes a look at the greatest paedophiles of our generation, and offers help and advice. No, he does sort of analyzations of people who are caught on to catch a predator and that sort of thing, and it's very enjoyable. I wouldn't have contacted him in the first place, and we wouldn't have started up such a long and always blossoming friendship had it not been.
Of course, it's changed the direction of both our lives forever. A sex offender named Lorne Armstrong. Well, how is that? It's quite weird, that, isn't it? You know what I mean?
Well, I can say I think definitely since we started talking about Lorne, you can both say that we've had a new direction.
I think about that sometimes. You think about it.
I just meant nude erection.
Oh, right. Oh, you're on form tonight, man.
I have my days, have my moments.
Yeah, you have them very briefly, but they do happen. They do happen.
Someone's just said in the chat, I thought I was talking to Adriana. She told me her name was 22. I love that's one of my favourite lines. Who said that? That's that. It's not Anthony Palumbo, no, because he comes to meet a boy, but it's another sort of.
Is it that Jerry Griffith guy?
I think it might be.
I've still got the video of him. I need to put it on my new channel at some point. Yeah,
but he's the one like he's like, oh, she told me he was another one just like Lorne. It's a little bit of a conspiracy throughout the TCAP community. Like the amount of people that go, oh well, I was talking to her niece and then her aunt, and like how many aunts and nieces just switch places, like that film with Jamie Lee Curtis all over the place. Just to confuse predators, apparently.
Yeah, it's never going to be as good as the Jean-Pierre Wary story. And them two videos... Oh, I've still got the video where me and you did a video that was entitled In the Defense of Jean-Pierre Wary. I've still got that.
Oh, you can't lose that. That was a masterpiece.
It was pretty good. I've still got that. I just need to edit it before I re-upload it. So...
we're sort of having a little To Catch a Predator chat because obviously that's what Andy's channel's about. But guys, because obviously we've got Walking Dead written. I've said obviously twice in the space of one sentence there. I hate people that do that. yeah, I've got Walking Dead in the title there, and anyone who's here for Walking Dead chat, that is coming very soon, so do bear with us. But we're also big To Catch a Predator fans, and so we always need to have a chat about that
I'm
from
not
time
as
to
big a
time.
fan as you.
Yeah, but I think you're more a fan of like analyzing predators, looking at look.
I love analysing all people, not just predators.
You like to look into their mentality, whereas I just like the comedy of their downfalls.
Yeah, I've never really thought about it, lad. No, but you've also. I mean, don't forget how many lawn videos you've made with me. You're
Oh yeah,
interested in him as a sort of enigma, aren't you?
it's just when you start analysing someone, it's just hard not to want to have a go yourself.
Yeah, analysing people is very contagious in more ways than one.
Exactly.
A lot of contagious stuff about analysing people. Rocker has just mentioned. We'll get onto it in a bit because we've still got a bit of TCAP stuff. But very, very briefly, I really enjoyed that Walking Dead. I thought it was great, which was probably because you kind of put it down a little bit before I watched it. But anyway, we're getting
Yeah.
on it.
Well, we haven't even discussed the first Walking Dead. I mean, this time a year ago, I planned to do a video sort of after each Walking Dead. I set up my little Walking Dead room, and then I only ever did one. Like
No, I think you did more than that.
or maybe 2 or 3, but not many. Because I was trying to make it look like, well, I'm a huge Walking Dead fan of both the comics and the show. But I, as a lot of people and a lot of like professional critics, sort of became very frustrated with it over the last couple of seasons. But I'm not as down on it as many people
Anyway,
have
we'll
been.
get to that later.
Yeah. So let's get back to the paedophiles.
Paedophiles and zombies. That's what we're talking about today.
Well, yeah.
Someone just said in the chat, I think it was Amy, why did you get a new channel? In case you're not aware, mine was deleted.
Yeah.
For unknown community guideline infringements. Chris, hey Chris. Chris is with us.
Hey Chris. Oh, can I was actually going to make a separate video just about this, but then I didn't get time. I just want to mention something that Chris has reminded me of. Now, anyone that watches our gaming streams recently knows that we also play with
We're all nerds.
another guy called J Reviews, and we have a nickname for Chris. We call him Toffee Chris because we had a joke about in England there's a chocolate bar or a candy bar called Toffee Crisp, and somehow we ended up joking about how Chris might use that as a condom, so we started calling him Toffee Chris. Anyway, I was looking through my news feed on my phone yesterday, and it said there was a headline, Jeremy Kyle Show. If you're not familiar with the Jeremy Kyle Show, those of you across the pond, it's a bit like Dr. Phil, but even lower class, if that's possible. And there was a headline on my newsfeed on my phone that said, Jeremy Kyle Show hits new low as woman claims to have used Toffee Crisp wrapper as a condom. And I was like, how is that for foreshadowing? We must be like prophets or something, because it couldn't be like a whisper or a Mars bar.
That's fucking weird. Are you sure that's genuine?
I'm sure if you type it into Google, you'll find it, Jeremy Kyle Toffee Crisp. But we've got it recorded. I'm sure it's on at least one of the streams. I won't be bothered to go back through to find it because it'd be going through hours of us talking bollocks. But there is definitely recorded footage of us calling Chris or mentioning Toffee Crisp wrappers as condoms before the Jeremy Kyle Show did it. So
that's a bit fucked up. It's like a sign, but what is it a sign of?
Well, that Toffee Crisp wrappers will be the new condom.
You'd have to have I've just got a Toffee Crisp wrapper out and experimented with it, and you'd have to have quite a small penis to make it work.
Well, you only need to put it over the bit that's going to jizz. That's what I said to her.
Yeah, but there could always be an accident because if the Toffee Crisp wrappers they're quite fragile, aren't they? So what if it rips?
Well, it's the same with any. Could you suggest a better candy bar wrapper? Are there any with? I know Twix has got
Maltesers.
What? You must have a really weird shaped cock if you're going to use a Maltesers packet.
Well, I was thinking of like Smarties actually.
Yeah, no.
But it might not be very enjoyable for the woman.
Well, she may as well just use the Smarties tube.
Yeah, but she wouldn't have my ridiculous, horrible, stinking breath on her if that happened.
Well, yeah, well, I mean, it doesn't really matter if you give her a forget-me-not afterwards anyway.
I didn't think this stream would go the way of having sex with women with Smarties tubes.
Well, you never know with these kind of streams. What can happen? So, yeah, anyway, now that's out of the way, let's talk a bit more about To Catch a Predator before we get into the main...
Can I just mention an amusing story about one of my... I was going to call him like a friend, but I suppose he is a friend. He comes round and plays poker once every 3 months, and he's a bit of a tosser, really. But I have known him since like 12. Anyway, he put a post on his Facebook 2 or 3 days ago, and it said, "Hi guys, I'm thinking this is like a public thing." He said, "Hi guys, I'm really thinking of making some changes in my life. Things have got to change. Be as honest as you can. What's wrong with me?" And he's been whinging for a while because he's like single. He's been single for years and years and years. And he basically is not very hygienic. He doesn't exercise. He doesn't look after. He doesn't dress well. He doesn't bath.
He doesn't bath? What, like ever?
He stinks. Well, last time he came round at poker, right? He put his coat in my spare room, right? And when at the end of the night,
they were going to say he put his cock in.
What is it with you and cocks?
Oh, I don't know. I just love the cock.
He put his coat in my spare room, right? And at like 3-4 in the morning, when the game had finished,
you went to have a sniff of his coat.
Well, I went in the room, and the fucking whole room stunk. I mean, he stunk the room out with one coat. So that's like an example of what we're dealing with here. This is a guy. I think I've told a story about him in one of my old videos, but we were all having a drink in my local once, and he was there. And just randomly, out of the blue, from nowhere, there's about 3 or 4 of us all stood there, and he just went, all of a sudden, "I'm donating sperm to my sister, me."
What the... Oh, you've told me about this guy before.
It's the same guy.
Oh, what the fuck? Who... I'm donating sperm to my sister. Oh, yeah, it's a brilliant idea.
But we were all just kind of bemused, looking at each other thinking, did he just say that? And we're like, "Casey, what the fuck are you talking about, man?"
You just said his name. I hope he doesn't hear this. Well, no.
But it's Casey's first name, it's Casey's last name. We'll never know.
Monroe.
Is it his middle name? Is it a made-up name? I'm not going to tell you his real name.
It's not Monroe, though, is it?
Rolo, Casey, yeah. Casey Moreau.
Yeah, I just said that twice. You didn't pick up on it.
Oh, I thought you said, right. So, anyway, we were like, "What the fuck are you talking about, man?" And he was like, "Well, if I give sperm to the sperm bank on behalf of my sister, she'll get cheaper IVF." I'm like, "Why the fuck didn't you just say that instead of blurting out that bizarre comment?" And then he went like, "But it's a secret, so don't tell anyone." And then a complete stranger walked round the corner. A fucking complete stranger who just went, "Hey, guess what, pal? I'm donating sperm to my sister." Fuck you, fucking moron.
Oh yeah, which hole are you donating it in?
But the point is, he put this comment on because he's been whinging. You can understand why the fuck he can't get a bird. And he was whinging.
What? Because every time you try and talk to a woman, your mate comes up behind you and goes, "I'm donating sperm to my sister."
Well, he happens to be not the most attractive guy in the world either, which he's not blessed in luck. He's oh god, I can't say it without sounding mean, but I'm just being truthful.
Well,
he doesn't look great, he doesn't smell great, he doesn't sound great, he doesn't act great. Nothing. I can't think of a positive thing about him, to be honest.
Well, this doesn't really apply to me, but I've heard sort of among humans that like having an uglier friend with you can help out a guy. I mean, once you're on my level, that you
Is that
just
why you invite me round to yours?
exactly yes to make me look good.
Yeah, I should go out for him. No, Chris, you wouldn't feel sorry for him if you met him. He's a bit of an arsehole. So he doesn't help himself. So in response to what he wrote on Facebook, I sent him a message. I didn't want to post it publicly because I don't think he should be doing it publicly. But I said, Casey, you've been offered some good advice there. Blah blah blah. Do this, do that.
Don't give sperm to your sister.
What?
Don't give sperm to your sister.
Yeah. I said, I don't want to insult you. However, I've got a lot of designer clothes that I don't wear anymore, and you're quite welcome to a lot of them. And then I said, also, try this book, and I suggested The Perineum by Eckhart Tolle and sent him a link.
The Perineum?
Shut up! The Perineum. Anyway, the point is, he just fucking sent me a message and said, what the fuck have you sent me that for? And I said, and I just thought, right, that just proves what an arsehole he is. I'm trying helping him out. He's not even read what I've wrote for him. He's not even appreciated that I offered to borrow him a book. He just said, what the fuck have you sent me that for? And I said, I'm sorry, that was sent by mistake, apologies, and just left it at that. It was just a pointless example of how some people are like beyond help. A bit like law.
Wow, okay.
So, anyway. Has anybody got any advice for my friend?
Well, I've got some advice, but yeah, just don't give sperm to your sister. I mean, maybe that's the mistake his dad made.
Well, his sister, man, she's got like 12 kids. It's like that Simpsons where we go, hey, Cubert, Tiffany, Brittany, Tyler,
Cletus
Hubert,
and his children.
Tony, Brittany, Taylor.
It's Cletus the one. What? Cletus the something yokel.
Cletus the slag judge yokel.
That's it. I was going to say the one-eyed yokel. I was literally getting... I was going to say the one-eyed yokel. I was literally getting him confused with Carl.
Cletus the slag judge. Is it clack-jawed?
No, it's slack-jawed.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Slot-jawed yokel, yeah. Anyway, so that was just an example of my crazy mate and how stupid and annoying some people can be. Did you enjoy that story, Adam?
Not really.
Fuck you then. Yeah, anyway. So I've been slowly picking up subs like on me it's not a new channel, but I've got 133 people back that I had before, but don't forget I was up to 2,800.
Well,
which was quite a lot for somebody in the niche. So I'm a bit,
Well, basically, I think that idea you told me before we started the stream about offering the first 1,000 subs a blowjob or anal rimming is probably the way to go.
I don't think they'll want that.
You'd be surprised.
Yeah, will they be rimming me or will I be rimming them?
You're rimming them. They're doing you a favour.
Well,
Jesus, man. You don't get a new channel and the pleasure.
Well, some people are already turning it down. Look what you've done. People are going to be unsubbing now.
You're unsubbing. Jesus, I don't want a rimming from Andy. Fuck that. No, but for the men, well, he'll mix it up, whatever you want. So, yeah, but let's just so that people do have an overview that's not, because if someone's listening to this and they've not heard of your channel, they don't really know who or what I am.
Andy, can you give some of your hurt to Andrew?
I think he means Adam.
Yeah.
I should make a wig out of my pubes for Andy.
Oh, you fucking horrible bastard.
Imagine that. I'm like, Andy, I've got this afro wig for you.
Oh, that happened on Jackass, didn't it? Didn't they make that beard?
I've probably seen it somewhere.
They were pretending to be the terrorists, weren't they? In that sketch.
I spent a long time since I've seen Jackass.
They made that full beard, didn't they, out of the pubes? And when he found out, he was like throwing up, wasn't he?
Oh, Jackass it got too messed up at the end.
I
I
don't think Jackass was that bad. It wasn't as bad as Dirty Sanchez. Did you ever see
well,
that?
it's all the same, isn't it? Oh, Dirty Sanchez was the Welsh fellas, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was just like ridiculous for the sake of ridiculous. Just realised the video you did, or we did, should I say, on this channel called The World's Creepiest Guy. I think it's probably had the most views out of any of the videos you've done on this channel. 1.7 thousand.
Oof. Well, yeah.
Huge numbers.
It's got a very clickbaity title, although it's not clickbait. To me, I mean, it's.
Maybe you should retitle this, I Want to Donate Sperm to My Sister.
Well, maybe I should. Yeah, it'll just get deleted. I'll just get banned like your last channel. So, I mean, maybe just every stream that you're on, I could just call The World's Creepiest Guy, and we'll get more views.
Part 2.
the world's. I was going to say second creepiest, or.
Skeleton. We don't know what happened to Robert Ocker. As far as I know,
I keep up to date with his blog. To be fair,
Facebook channel's disappeared. Facebook page disappeared.
Well, I keep up to date with his blog, and he's blogged a few things, but I think his Facebook may well, because he was sort of, I don't know, messaging all these Asian women and stuff, and I think his blog sort of descends further and further into just sort of nonsensical madness that it's beyond comprehension. The guy lives within his own world, which is what's kind of, if he wasn't such a creep, he would be a really intriguing eccentric and someone I'd love to get to know, but it's all the creepy, pervy shit.
You want to get to know Robert Hocker, you fucking weirdo.
When I mentioned that I might contact him to have an actual talk with him, although he may well not respond in any kind of way that makes any sense to anyone, but everyone was like, yeah, you should do that, that would be amazing. The trouble is, it's just whether sort of, because he made all those, he's got like his global network website where he writes all his crazy stuff about how he's running the government and everyone's going to be sent to the moon and stuff like that. And that's all, harmless fun. But then you come across his other blog, which is sort of talking about what he'd like to do to little girls and things. And
do you think he is? I mean, this might be a stupid question. And do you think he is like a real pedo?
I don't think he actively goes out looking to molest children or anything.
But that's not really. You don't have to be one by actively doing it, do you? Just need to have that attraction.
I think he's definitely got perversions that go in that direction. But, he also writes a lot of things about people like Avril Lavigne, Carly Rae Jepsen. Like, he always goes on about how he's, like, mind-raped these celebrities and stuff. Which,
oh, yeah, that was fucking weird, that, wasn't it?
Yeah. And
can I just thank everybody in the chat who's subbed to my new channel, by the way? The emails have just come through. Appreciate it, guys. Thanks.
Oh yeah, just to go back to sort of Jackass and Dirty Sanchez, though, things being a skater kid, I saw Jackass in its very
You was a skater kid. You was
Still
a skater
am.
boy.
Yeah.
Fucking hell, really?
Yeah. Did you not realise that by the fact
No,
I wear?
why would I fucking realise that? I've never seen you with a helmet and a skateboard. So
I never wore a helmet. I never wore a helmet. I only had to wear that between the ages of 3 and 5 because I kept bumping into walls.
Any good?
I was not bad. I could do sort of basic tricks. I could do decent ollies, kick flips. I
didn't see you nicking any of the kids' fucking skateboards in Barcelona when we walked past them.
Got my own that is probably more expensive than what any of them have.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, but it's away in the cupboards. I would have shown it to you if you didn't believe me. The thing is, the last time I went out skating, I was quite drunk and I was like, I haven't been skating for ages and used to love it. And I went out and it was like 3 in the morning. I was really drunk. But I was like, yeah, this is brilliant. This is great. Oh, I feel the speed. And then I hit like a uneven bit of pavement and fell over. My God, it hurt. I was like, wow, this is not... Like when you're young, you can just get up and be like, fine, jump back on the board. it's when you're in your mid-30s, it just doesn't feel the same when you fall off. When you hit your funny bone, you always put your elbow out to block yourself falling. Yeah, and I just was like, and I sort of I haven't really done it since that night. But I mean, in fact, the first year and a bit, I moved to Spain. I was doing a lot of skating. I used to go down the seafront when I was living in the city. I used to go down there around 11 midnight when no one else was around. There was a little three steps that I would jump off. It was pretty cool, actually. You'd be surprised. Somewhere like Barcelona, a lot of people still, there's no stigma attached to still being a skater when you're old.
Really?
No, not at all. I was doing ollies off the steps outside the W Hotel on the seafront, and this guy came along. And what I was doing, to me, compared to what I could do when I was younger and what some of the things I saw my peers do, like this guy came along and was like, that's insane. I hope I get the courage up to do that sometime. And he was like in his mid-40s. And I was like, oh, yeah. And we started chatting. He was an American guy. And he was told me he got divorced from his wife. So he'd started skating again. But he was just sort of... I was like, wow, this guy's nearly 10 years older than me. And he's still on his deck. So... like, you'll see people all over the place riding little scooters, riding skateboards. In Barcelona, there's no stigma like in England. If someone saw a 40-year-old on a skateboard, be like, oh, what's that old man doing on a skateboard?
Yeah, it's a different. I've noticed that when I've been to your town in Barcelona a couple of times, and it's totally different mentality to the UK. People seem a lot more easygoing and a bit more accepting and stuff like that. I remember I was having a coffee in the high street. It was just some fucking random guy shouting at himself. No one fucking batted an eyelid. It was pretty weird. Lily and Luna. Hi, Lily. I've not spoke to you in a while. I can't be uploading all my old content to my new channel because I just don't have it. But a lot of it will be. There's already quite a bit of stuff on there. All the dusting stuff's going to get re-uploaded. The lawn stuff I'm going to have to be really careful about because that's what got my channel banned. And someone who just resubscribed to my channel, I'm not sure he's in the chat, Nicholas, I think it was. Nicholas Benny has said, Lorne couldn't have reported the channel. He doesn't even know how to turn his comments off.
That's true.
Which is it's a very fucking true point, that, isn't it?
Oh, I don't think it was Lorne, but maybe some sort of lawn protector of some kind or something. Oh, you're breaking up. You still with me?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, wonder if it was Lorne's mother.
I doubt it was Mama Gwen.
No, I've got a funny... Saying that, though, I've got a funny feeling Mother Gwen's probably more computer savvy than what Lorne is. She seems a lot more switched on.
Well, I think you could say that about 97% of the population.
It's very, very true. Yeah. You're always drunk, Adam. Create1G's just said.
Well, that is true. I do love drinking. I was a little bit drunk. It just makes life more fun. My boss isn't happy about it, but fuck it. No, I don't go to work drunk. But no, like when I'm talking, I think this last time I went out skating, God, that was maybe a year ago, and it hurt so much when I fell off. I was just like, nah, I can't. I should maybe pick it up again because, in fact, it was just after I moved here to Barcelona. I bought a really expensive new skateboard and trucks and wheels and bearings. Some really good bearings, which meant it was very fast because I wanted it more as a mode of transport than to do tricks on these days. And that's why the reason I mentioned that, because it seems like I've just gone off on a tangent completely, is because, yeah, all that Jackass stuff, I'd seen it all before on the CKY2K videos, which were only sold in skate shops in the early 90s. But that's where that all started. And then, of course, they got people like Johnny Knoxville on board, and it all became really popular. But, yeah, anyway, so... we were going to have a little chat about what your videos used to be about first, so that people coming in here could be like, oh yeah, because I mean it is titled Andy's got a new channel, and yeah, Andy mostly looked, because we've said the name Lorne, and we assume everyone in the chat knows who we're talking about, but they might not. But Lorne Armstrong was a guy that was very famously caught on the TV show To Catch a Predator. And sort of broke down in tears and was a massive pussy, and it was very funny. And Andy made a lot of videos analysing what could have become of him. And then the guy turned up with his own YouTube channel, which only served to make things even more
amusing.
Yes, and meta to an extent. You could say, oh, that's the meta. I think maybe that word fits in this situation. Yeah, it made things very strange because then Lorne was making his own videos and Andy was making videos analysing Lorne after. Every time Lorne uploaded something new, Andy couldn't wait to get his hands on it and analyse him.
Well, neither could you.
Yeah, but I do it discreetly.
That's true. Just one sec. I'm just getting some more drink.
Right.
Deborah Gibson, hello Deborah, has just said, can a channel be banned for what happens on a live stream? Well, yeah, because what happens when you do a live stream, it stays on the channel as a normal video, so it would count as. But I suppose.
Well, not necessarily.
It's an interesting question that, because you could delete. You've got the power to delete it. So I don't suppose you could get banned for it then, because.
Oh, you can be banned during a live stream.
Yeah, but what I mean is, if no algorithm picks up on it at the time and then you delete it, they couldn't do anything, could they?
I suppose not, but I think the algorithm listens for certain words during the live streams as well. I know I had a friend who was shut down during a live stream.
Do you know for what reason?
Yeah, I know exactly what reason. Because he went on. I don't know if you're familiar with the website Omegle, but he live streamed going on Omegle, and basically what it does, it links you up with someone anywhere in the world. If you've watched some of Base Shaman's videos. He's been on Omegle a bit. But anyway, my mate, this was actually a guy with a lot of subscribers, a big channel, Lewis. And he went on Omegle. I didn't actually see it for real, but he told me about it. And I think it was when his channel was a lot smaller than it is and wasn't so scam baiting based or focused. And he went on Omegle, and then there was a guy wanking off, and his stream got shut down immediately, unsurprisingly.
Yeah, we can kind of understand that, can't we?
Yeah, well, I mean that's a good reason to shut down a stream, to shut down a channel because you're making fun of a pedo. Not so good.
I know it's fucked up. It's like we've said, isn't it? I mean, I don't know. To be fair, I can see things. I think I'm big enough to know when I'm wrong, and I've always been able to stand back and look at what I do and question it. I'm not one of these people that do exist that think they can do no wrong, because there seem to be a lot of them. And I've always questioned whether it was right what I did. If you think about it, I made like 100 videos about Lorne. If you were Lorne, which obviously you wouldn't be, it's just a bit of a silly question, but if someone made 100 videos about you and you did something wrong, you'd be pissed off, wouldn't you?
Well, it depends. I mean, because if
we had this discussion last time. There's no point going over it, but it's an interesting topic. Does it constitute bullying? What I did, I said some pretty nasty things about him.
Yeah, we did kind of discuss this on the. Well, I guess maybe just because of the extent. But what's the difference between that and making 100 videos about a celebrity or? Well, not that he is a celebrity. See, that's where things get difficult, because then you say that and you say, well, what's the reason that you do that? But he was a very interesting case to look at and make a lot of videos about, especially as there was always so much, even like before he had his own YouTube channel, there's always so much new or sort of not undiscovered by everyone, but more material to find and talk about, whether it be from his chat log, his phone calls, the video clips, the extended footage. It was, the reason it was so interesting is because it was watching the downfall of this man who had done nothing but dug his own grave. So I don't see why that's not fair to talk about someone that you would have never heard of if he hadn't done a fairly heinous crime.
Yeah, Lily's just asked, was it strictly because of Lorne stuff? Every strike that I got was related to a Lorne video. Every one. But I did a lot of Lorne videos, so I don't know. It's a strange one, because Lorne served his time, and he has the right to get on with his life. But at the same time, he chose not to get on with his life. He chose to try. I mean, we're covering old ground here. Let's not go on about this too much. But he chose to try and profit from his teacup situation by making silly T-shirts, which we had an amazing laugh about. I mean, it was fucking hilarious. I've still got the video called Lorne Armstrong Entrepreneur that me and you did, and it just starts with me and you laughing for 5 minutes at the beginning of the video.
Go, Daddy. Yeah. That might not make sense to people in the chat, but the website he decided, and this is a guy who was caught on the show about catching paedophiles to catch a predator. The website he then created to sell his T-shirts based on the fame he had gained through being on that show was a domain that's open to anyone, but he obviously didn't think about the connotations of the fact that that domain was called GoDaddy. So yeah, that was pretty hilarious.
Yeah, and it wasn't just that though. I remember when we were doing the video, because I watched a bit of it the other day when I was trying to find all my old videos, and we were encountering new things as we went through his website. There was a bit at the bottom that said, "Please help me recover the funds that I stole from Durango Mango." So it's basically
asking people to pay back.
As I'm saying it now, it's still hilarious. He had the audacity to try and get other people in the community that are intrigued by him getting caught trying to do whatever with a kid to try and pay for the debt that he's got for trying to scam an old couple. What on earth? Please help me donate money to Betty so I don't have to pay her myself.
Yes, not the...
He's just dumb, innit? Do you know what I mean? It's like, what the fuck? What planet does this guy live on?
Not exactly a pillar of society.
I mean, there were people coming into Andrew's live stream just to troll him. I guess they didn't like him questioning the epics. Yeah, that did happen, Lily.
Well, I think let's not go too deep into the issues that are inside the community itself, rather than...
Yeah, because it's all been...
It's all speculation as well as to why the channel
no,
went
it's all
down.
been above sort of, you know, everybody's got their own opinions, and it's you know, it was always going to be happen with a...
But yeah, should we start talking about The Walking Dead? Silence.
Yeah, I'm just reading the comments.
Andy, you need to be able to multitask when you're on a... I can't even call it a podcast because Andy just goes silent and reads the comments. Like he forgets he's actually on the air.
Well, I've just started drinking wine and I don't actually drink wine.
What colour?
Red. I don't drink red either.
I love red wine. That's the only wine.
Well, no, it's not red. It's rosé.
Oh, what? Oh, right. Well, you may as well.
No, the only reason I've got rosé is because you get these special deals at the supermarket or store.
Yeah. What, a free rosé if you get bummed.
Yeah, and it's just crap.
Yeah.
But I had nothing else in.
Well, at least the supermarket worker got to jizz. They give you a free rosé. Go gay for rosé. That was the promotion.
Well, it may have been. I have got some other wine, but I couldn't. It was at the back of the cupboard, and I couldn't be bothered reaching it.
Reach around.
Yeah.
That's how you got your rosé. Anyway, enjoy that. So we didn't really discuss sort of the last... Well, we had a brief chat that they sort of come in the middle of the stream, so it's a bit sort of spliced and diced, these streams, because we can go from one topic randomly to the other. Sometimes like we'll have some amazing content about The Walking Dead, but it'll be 45 minutes into a stream talking about Lorne or something.
Can we, before we move on, can we just have one last Lorne thing?
Right, of course.
Does anybody, because like some people in the chat know Lorne as well as what we do, does anybody think that Lorne had the inclination to take my channel down? Because I think it was one of his supporters, personally. Has
Yeah.
anybody got...
Again, I don't think it's worth worrying yourself over who did
No, I mean, at the
what.
end of the day, it's happened, hasn't it? It's not like it's a big deal, but it is kind of interesting, isn't it? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't personally think it was Lorne, though. Lorne Stink said yes, he admitted it in a new call.
Yeah, I'm sure he did.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you know.
I wouldn't worry too much about it. You've got the new channel will build up quick. I think it tends to do. All the supporters are still around.
Yeah, Base Sharman put a shout out on his video that he did today, saying that my new channel's up. So I sent him a message saying thanks. So it was really good of him to do that because I got a few new subs or some of the old ones. Okay, you don't have to believe me.
Well, and also Isaiah's video was great that he made when your channel went down. Was really.
Oh, it's brilliant! I didn't know he had such. I don't want to like insult the guy, but I didn't know he had such decent editing skills.
Yeah, no, he's done a few really well edited things. He did one thing, I think before Christmas, where he sort of spliced a lot of things together. If you guys haven't checked him out and you're into TCAP stuff, then do check out Isaiah's channel. I think Isaiah TCAP is his name, and he's sort of he's the Australian Andy. To an extent, they both do. They've got different takes on things, but they both do analyzations of the predators, and yeah, he has very.
He's as equally insightful as me, if I do say so.
Yeah, if not more so.
Yeah, exactly. There's a very good argument for that.
But no, he's a really nice guy with some very interesting content, so check him out. But yeah, so I think. I'm not sure if people here, if you're not into The Walking Dead or you're not up to date with The Walking Dead, you might. I know a lot of people watched it and gave up, so hopefully you're not going to mind us having a chat about it, because I think we've got a bit to say.
Can I just say, Lily has been very kind to to our streams and my channel in the past, so I'll just give a shout out to her channel because she's done some good stuff about Lorne and a couple of Star Wars videos as well. So you might want to stick just if you want to pick up more subs, Lily. I don't want to be patronising, but just stick a photo in your description of the channel, because when people come across it, I know it sounds dead obvious, but
yeah, he was on at me about this for ages on this channel about not having a picture on it.
It just makes a bit of a difference, because if people are stumbling across stuff to sub to, they'll always do it if it looks like if it's just because you've got like the purple background. It's that's all I'm saying. But of course, you know, you got good content, so I just stick a photo in there if I were you. It's not too difficult. You just go into the my channel settings and then click on the background. It should be like a little pencil that you can click on.
Yeah, I don't think we need to turn this into a tutorial.
No, we don't need to do it. But let's should we go on to The Walking Dead anyway?
Well, let's just have a of course, at the end of last season, spoiler alert, guys. So if you're not up to date with The Walking Dead and this Sunday's episode, do be aware we will be talking about that from this point on in. But yeah, the end of last season. I'm not sure if we discussed it. I'm sure we did a bit, but Carl being killed off. Now, for me as a comic book fan, that was quite... I didn't really know how to feel about it. I'm still watching the new series, but I'm a bit... Carl's such an important character in the comics that their decision to kill him off seemed to me very strange. And either the writers or the show editors have got a huge amount of faith in where they're going to take the direction of the show, or they just said we need to do something crazy because people are losing interest, and I really hope it's not the latter.
I think it is, Can I be a bit critical now?
Yeah, well, of course. And that's what we're doing. We're critiquing The Walking Dead. If we're
I think, and no, I'm not gonna do it. I was gonna draw a comparison to something else then, but I'm not. I think the writers don't know what the fuck they're doing at the minute, and I think this has been the case for 2 seasons. I think the Negan situation was very good. I love him as a character, as a villain, although I've got some issues with him in this episode.
Mhm.
And I think that season, I think they're at a situation now where there's no end in sight to the series. So, for instance, you have a series like Breaking Bad, and they'll say, right, we'll do 5 seasons. We know what we're going to do. We know where it's going to go. This will be the end result. How do we get the 5 seasons? Let's get rid of it. And that creates brilliant TV because there's a clear end in sight. With The Walking Dead, they haven't got a fucking clue what they're doing. They've got Negan there. They've no idea how it's going to end up. They don't know what they're going to do with the characters. They don't know when it's going to finish. There's been no end in sight, so whoever's the network behind it don't know when it's going to end. So that creates for some
HBO,
dishevelled programming and some clueless writing as well, I think.
No, AMC, sorry.
Sorry, what was that?
AMC is the network.
Yeah, AMC, yeah. So I think that's a part of the reason why it's getting to where it is. And that's not to say that there isn't still some great entertainment, because there's still some very talented writing and actors behind it. But of course, where's it going? Do you get where I'm coming from, Adam? Do you agree with any of that?
I could see how you could, but for me, that it seems odd because they are trying to stray so far from the source material in the comics. The comics are fantastic. If it was literally a live-action remake of the comics...
But you keep mentioning the comics, Adam, right? And of course, nobody can criticise you for that because you're a fan of the comic books. It's good that we can have this talk because I've never read a comic in my life. So I'm purely watching it. You're looking at it from a different perspective. You're expecting certain things.
Yeah.
And you have different. When you see Negan, you might see the comic book version of him.
Well, I think we both got quite a bit to talk about Negan this evening and his character, and especially in the most recent episode. But for me, to come back to Carl, like without Carl, the comics, like the canon of the story can't maintain the same way it does in the comics, which is super. In the comics, obviously, like I say, it's not. Sorry, guys, it's a spoiler for the comics if you haven't read it, but I'm not even up to date with the comics anymore. So, but like Carl becomes, more or less the leader or one of the leaders, and it's a huge part of the storyline, and is more so important, at least where I was up to in the comics, than Rick himself. So to kill him off, I don't, he was supposedly the future of this zombie apocalyptic world. And so for me, I'm a bit confused as to where they're going to go. And you're saying, like, the writers have nowhere to go, they don't know where to go. Well, I know what happens to Negan, and I was really looking forward to that scene happening in the series. It doesn't happen to Negan ultimately, but yeah, Rick...
Has everything that's happened in the comics happened in the series? Everything?
No.
But what I mean is, every character that's in the comics, is it always a parallel of what happens to them in the series, or does it sometimes go a different way?
Oh, absolutely not. I mean, there's characters that are in the series that aren't in the comics at all.
Well, there will be, but what I mean is, for instance, did Glenn die in the comics how he died in this?
Yeah, but then, for example, do you remember when the nurse, Tara's girlfriend, Deborah? I'm not sure what her name was, when she got the arrow through the eye.
You know what? I don't fucking remember that.
It was Dwight. Before Dwight decided to switch sides, he shot I'm not sure if she was the nurse. She was like the medical person or something. I think I'm right in that. A little bit plump lady. And that was how Abraham died in the comics. And then both Glenn and Abraham in the series got their heads bashed in, but it was only Glenn in the comic. But of course, this whole thing with the outpost didn't happen in the comics. So it's a lot more darker because to an extent, and I know this is a topic that we've probably talked about to the nth degree, Negan's revenge wasn't really that bad when you can see he killed 2 of Rick's people when you consider they had already killed 30 of their people in their sleep.
Yeah.
So it gave it Negan's sort of side almost an element where if you'd been watching this series from the other side the whole time, you would be saying, yeah, well done, smash those.
But it was the way that obviously this sort of maybe goes in tune with what we wanted to speak about Negan's character, is that the way that he killed those people it shocked you, because you were like, who is this? He's the most evil guy they've encountered. And then this last episode seems to completely turn that around. They've changed his characters considerably, in my opinion.
Let's have a brief recap of last week's episode, because we didn't really discuss that at all, and I don't think it's going to take very long, because I found it a little bit drab.
Right, let's move on.
Yeah, it was a bit drab, sort of. Yeah, Carl's dying, dead, dig his grave. Let's all be a bit sad for an episode. I think for a season opener, it was very disappointing because there was no real action in it at all. And that's the trouble. I'm waiting for these huge sort of set piece action moments, and I'm not getting as many of them as I want. When the first half of this series opened with loads of machine guns firing everywhere, I was like, finally, we're getting proper full on all out war. But it's not intense and harrowing like it is in the comics of the all out. What they're having as all out war at the moment is all rather clandestine, and everyone's separated, and it's that first episode was very slow, but yeah, I did enjoy this Sunday's episode more. I wouldn't say drastically.
I really enjoyed it, you know.
I did.
It was a bit like the 22 short stories in Springfield episode, though.
Yeah, with having each character's perspective was pretty cool.
Yeah, but they did rob it off The Simpsons. But
Well, didn't The Simpsons rob it from Pulp Fiction?
Of course they did. I'm only joking, you tit.
All right, calm down.
Well, you are a tit.
Right.
So am I, but, got to call you out on it.
Well, anyway.
Sorry, I like talking about tits.
Well, who doesn't? But that's not for a live stream.
Yeah. Well, we've said worse during this live stream already, haven't we?
Well, yeah. But yeah, last week's episode was incredibly slow. But this week's, with the seeing each character's view, I did enjoy every part more or less. Michonne's part, well, it sort of said Michonne, and it didn't really seem to focus that much on Michonne.
No, that was a bit weird. I liked. What's the crazy garbage woman called?
Jardis.
This is right. I'm not very good at following storylines unless it's Star Wars, because my mind wanders very easily and I start making my own films in my head. When obviously she twatted Simon, yeah, and then as you can imagine, Simon was mightily pissed. Did they kill everybody apart from her?
Well, yeah.
So why leave her alive?
Well, I think it was, well, basically to keep her in the story, because I think the writers think that she's an interesting character worth.
No, but I'm not interested in the writer's perspective. I'm talking about it story-wise. Is it a plot hole?
Well, so Negan told him to only kill one of them, didn't he? And he killed all but one.
Right. I just think that I know what you mean about keeping the character alive, but that's lazy writing, isn't it?
Well, I think I was quite pleased that she dropped the caveman speak towards the end, to be honest, because that sort of no deal, me paint here bollocks was really winding me up. I was like, why the fuck are they talking like this? But it turns out they were just a bunch of smug little artists that had decided to talk like twats, or she had influenced them all to talk like twats. I'm glad she dropped that at the end, but I guess that's never going to be cleared up as to why they all talked like me Tarzan, you Jane.
Yeah, I do. There was something I did like the sort of little group. I thought it was a bit interesting. But I did like Rick's way of basically giving her the fingers and saying, "Go and fuck yourself," which I think was right. I was a bit worried that he was going to invite her into the crew.
But isn't that, I mean, he's sort of doing everything opposite of what his son asked him to, what his son's dying wishes were. Like his son saying, show mercy, be peaceful, and Rick's just like, nah, fuck that.
Well, I mean, I suppose this, we might as well get to the meaty part now, haven't we? Which is, obviously, Rick has lost his son. So you can imagine he's not exactly going to be thinking straight and not going to be making rational decisions, because he spent, 8 years trying to protect him. And now he's dead. He's probably done very well to keep him alive for that long, but obviously he's not going to think like that. So you can understand him going a bit nuts, because he went crazy before, didn't he? It was like season 5, where he just went completely nuts and turned into a complete cunt.
It's at the beginning of that was season 3 or 4 when they were in the prison. It was at the beginning of that when, oh wait, I'm not sure which part you mean, because he went nuts after Laurie, after his wife died.
But there was one bit where he didn't just go nuts, he turned into like a total arsehole, and it went very dark. Turned into also what he was trying to fight. I just remember it standing out.
I think there's been an element of that for a long time now. Like, Rick's been more like, if sort of the balance is 50-50 on who you don't trust, just kill them. I don't think that's necessarily, in this apocalyptic world, the wrong way to go by. You look at the people they've come across, the governor and his crew, the cannibals of Terminus, and the wolves. Everyone has been up for a fight, and they learned their lesson of not killing people the first time they met them a few times. That seems to be a recurring theme. So you can't always blame Rick for just killing people for a laugh.
Oh no, not at all. I suppose what I mean is, can we talk about Negan's character now?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I've always loved Negan. When he's on screen, I'm terrified. I'm in the shoes of the character that he's talking to, and I'm thinking, oh my God, he's gonna bash their head in. It's like literally, he's a great villain. For me, obviously, I'm not a fantastic TV critic, but I just loved him as a character. From the bit he bashed Glenn's head in and seemed to enjoy it, and it seemed to be the most gruesome bit of television I've ever seen in my life. Whenever I saw him on screen and the way he's played, you're always on the edge of your seat. He's got a massive screen presence. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, but how good was Simon in this episode? I mean, I would say no, but I'm trying to draw a comparison.
Well,
I would say the eeriness of to flick a switch and just being a crazy motherfucker has to go to Simon. He's a scarier villain than Negan is.
Well, this is where it's gone wrong then, isn't it? Because I agree with you. Old Trevor, Simon, is a great villain, because I still see Trevor Phillips in him, though. Can't help it, can you?
Yeah, that's why. I mean, Trevor Phillips, and for anyone in the chat, in the stream, who doesn't realise it, if you've not played Grand Theft Auto 5, you should. But the best character in Grand Theft Auto 5 is Trevor, because he's a crazy motherfucker. And I think Simon, like, you can see that when Simon plays it, like that moment where he's talking to the junk people in the scrapyard, like I thought that he was brilliant. That was the best moment throughout the show for me.
Yeah, it was. I mean, I do agree with you. I like Simon as a character. I think there was a bit more depth to him in that episode. Maybe they're trying to have him overtake Negan, but when I was saying about Negan and the way I felt about him as a villain, it's been that scariness that I've got for him, that fear, and the sort of, I can't think of the word, but the anticipation I feel when I see him doesn't, because I've seen a softer side to him in that episode, which isn't in tune with his character. He's turned human. He was a monster, and now he's human, and it's changed the complexion of the show. In a way, in a big way for me, because he's shown compassion for a dead child.
Well,
And
maybe
like,
with the exception of this episode. I don't want to skip to like the last speech in the episode just yet and talk about that before we've covered a few more parts of it. But I think he's been a bit too much of a pantomime villain previously, especially when you compare him with someone like Simon, who does have that sort of psychopathic glint in his eye. And I think, I mean, Negan, I've mentioned it when we talked about The Walking Dead before, like that, the lean back thing he's always doing starts to wind me up. Like, oh yeah, oh, I'm so relaxed. I lean back when I'm standing up. He's been a bit over the top for my liking at times, but I have enjoyed Jeffrey Dean Morgan's portrayal of Negan, but he still will never come up to the kind of character he is in the comic books.
Well, there you go again. There's the comparison, but with me, obviously, I don't have that. But do you not think that? Well, I suppose what I'm trying to say is, have they gone the right way with him? I don't see him as the scary person I used to now. Whenever I see him on screen, I'm not going to have that dread and fear that I did before. Now I'm looking at the guy who's devastated that Carl's dead and who tried to make it up with Rick. That episode portrayed Rick really as being not necessarily the bad guy, but it quite clearly clearly tried to portray Negan as the more reasonable person, because everything he said was kind of right, really. Well, not necessarily right, but he said, Rick, you've already lost, and he's right. He has lost. He's lost his son. He's lost most of his men. Give up. Give up.
Well,
You've lost.
You see, that even saying that though, it sort of reminds me of the fact that of what kind of the relationship that Negan and Carl form in the comic books, and it's really interesting how they have this affection for each other. And now that's not going to be possible because the writers, for whatever reason, have decided to kill Carl off. I mean, in the comics, he's of course still a kid and a bit cuter and more naive. But I just can't get my head around that decision still to this extent. But to look at some other aspects of the episode as well, I thought the Oceanside people and Enid's part with Aaron was pretty boring.
Yeah, very boring.
I don't really understand. There again, it's more characters that aren't in the comic that they don't really know what to do with. I don't really understand why Aaron needs to stay there and talk them round or whatever, unless if they join. Well, I'm sure they will join the fight, but it's I've got no affiliation with any of those characters. That whole scene just seemed kind of, but oh, I've shot your grandmother, but don't worry, let me free, because if not, some of our people are probably going to come and kill you. The whole Oceanside, and I get it's sort of showing a bit about how, like you were saying, with the writers being a bit lost, like they don't know what they're doing. They've got two of the characters they have no idea what to do with. In Aaron and Enid being over with a whole group of people that they've introduced, they've got no idea what to do with, or at least that's the way it seems.
Yeah, I think that's definitely the way it is. But I suppose I suppose there's something I've not really thought about now until my brilliant brain came up with it. Is that if you are a group of writers or whatever, and you're trying to make a show like The Walking Dead, which has got a fantastic premise, if you're trying to mirror comic books and trying to stay faithful to that, and also create a AAA TV series, if you want to call it that, it's not an easy thing to do, is it? The thing with like something like Breaking Bad is you've got a clean slate, haven't you?
Well, yeah, but yeah, I think there's a lot of sort of that's the other thing that crossed my mind earlier today as well. Heath. What the hell? He's in the comics. He's a really good character in the comics. He's just disappeared. Disappeared, what, months ago? Well...
Who?
Yeah, exactly.
No, really, who?
Yeah, Heath, the black guy with the dreadlocks.
Oh, what's happened to the king?
Oh, well,
Where's he gone?
He's, that was all tied up last week, wasn't it? What happened to him?
I can't remember. Was that
him and Carol and...
Oh, yeah, of course.
Yeah. But Heath's just disappeared, and I'm waiting for whether Heath will come back or not. Like, I mean, Heath's an important character in All Out War, so it's...
Lily Luna's just made a great point. What the bloody hell's happened to Maggie's baby? She's been pregnant for 3 years.
Well, I think in the timeline, supposedly, because it's only meant to be over a few weeks, it's not been that long.
Oh, right, okay.
But yeah, he's disappeared, and so yeah, I'm trying to think through the episode chronologically. So then we've got to come back to the garbage people and that Jardis and Rick and Michonne come across them and find her for some reason dressed in a nightie. I don't really understand why she decided just to sit in underwear when Rick and Michonne find her. And then she's all like, oh, I'm all upset because they shot all my friends and left me alive. And then what some people have described as the goriest scene in any of The Walking Dead, all the zombie guts going into the grinder.
Oh, that was just weird. Heisenberg White's in the house, by the way.
Hey, Heisenberg White.
Yeah, it just looked like sort of paste.
Well, it looked like shit.
Well, yeah, shit with... Never mind. Didn't look nice though.
No, it didn't look nice. No, she grinded up all her old friends and gave them a proper send off.
Can I just say, if you're still here, Heisenberg, I appreciate the because I think you've let a lot of the other TCAPists know about my new channel, so I appreciate you that for that because I sent you the message the other day. So cheers for that, mate. But yeah, so what did you do? You not think that? Do you not think that they've gone the wrong way with Negan?
How do you mean? I guess we're coming to sort of more or less the end of the episode. I'm trying to think. I don't think there was any particularly more important parts. And his speech at the end, I thought was a bit.
What I mean is that in tune with what you believe his character to be, because he got very soft, didn't he? Rick saying, I'm going to kill him repeatedly, and he didn't even flinch. He wasn't even asked. Well, whenever somebody threatens him, he's like, fucking hell, I'm going to kill you.
I think he's genuinely affected by Carl's death. And I think but that's... The trouble is, as a comic book reader, I'm aware of the supposed relationship between Negan and Carl, which is very respectful between the two of them. And it's like, and all they get, because they've killed him off now, is like the line at the beginning where Negan says, that kid is built for this world, and then later on finds out he's dead and asks if it was one of their grenades that killed him, and he says no. And then it was pretty cold of him, like, because he basically says, well, you're his dad, Rick, and he died because of you, which is the truth, but even if they're your mortal enemy, you probably don't say that to someone moments after their kids died. I think they were trying to give us more of... They were trying to show that Negan had an affection for Carl, but at the same time, he wasn't above using that to get underneath Rick's skin.
But he genuinely, when you say getting under Rick's skin, he genuinely, like you said, he genuinely seemed affected. that was quite obvious, wasn't it? He saw. We saw. Would you agree? We saw a human side in him we've not seen before.
Well, no, because I mean, we had the whole episode with him and Carl together.
Yeah, but even he was still quite strict with Carl, and you still got that impression with Negan that if Carl did and said the wrong thing, he'd still kill him.
Yeah,
There
but
was
Carl
always
got
that.
through that by being smart and resourceful and strong, and that's why he
Yeah.
respected it.
Yeah. No, I suppose I'll have that a little bit. But I don't know. I suppose, regardless of the circumstances behind it, it's shown Negan in a new light, which has changed the complexion of the show going forward.
For me, I'm not sure what to expect now, because having Carl's death has had such a huge impact as to what I should expect from the show, and how the sort of showdown that I guess is going to happen in the finale of this season between Rick and Negan will play out, whether they'll change that whole dynamic at all or not.
Yeah, I mean, Lily's just saying that she kind of disagrees with me about him. She kind of agrees with you, really, that we've seen a human side in him before. I get what you're saying. I've never really felt it like I did today. It changed when I looked at Negan. I didn't see him as the same character. It might just be for me, but it seems to have changed it quite a bit. It's going to be interesting to see where they go with it now, because do you get the impression as well that Rick? We've already touched upon it, but Rick did actually act irrationally.
In regards to what?
In regards to how he spoke to Negan. Because we've already said that Carl wanted him to make a truce with him, and he just flatly refused.
Yeah, but he's got to focus his anger and upset somewhere. I mean, his son's just died. He's not going to be thinking straight and calculated, is he? He wants pure blooded, cold revenge. He knows a Walker bit Carl, but he's still going to put Negan's face on that Walker.
Yeah.
So, I don't think he acted. I mean, I'm guessing, and I may be looking for continuity errors that aren't there here, but I'm guessing that they took the walkie-talkie from one of the people they killed or something. So it's a bit like, how does he suddenly have a direct line to Negan?
Yeah, I wondered that. To be honest, I thought it was something that I'd not picked up on in previous episodes, so I just didn't think twice about it, really.
Yeah, so it was. Maybe it's something I've forgotten. Maybe someone in the chat could point it out to us if.
Or it could just be lazy writing again.
Yeah, it could be. Oh yeah, just have a chat with him whenever you want. They'll just sing each other lullabies to sleep. But yeah, it was a better episode certainly than the first one in this season. But
I enjoyed it, regardless of how I've just complained about Negan's character, which I understand why they might have had to go this way, but I enjoyed it.
Well, I'm looking forward to seeing what happens with Simon, and yeah, I'm just hoping there's going to be a lot of action and craziness for the next 6 episodes, or I'm going to be very disappointed. But they're going to have to do something to kind of appease me as to where they're going to go from Carl's death.
Yeah, like I said, I don't think they've got a clear end game, but that's common and very common among TV series these days. But have we got anything else to talk about with regard to that episode?
Well, I think that's what would you rate it on a scale out of 1 to 10?
I'd give it an 8.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I enjoyed even though I'm whinging, well, I'm not necessarily whinging about Negan's character, because I'm just saying I think it changed him a little bit. I enjoyed the tension between, I enjoyed the scenes between Simon and that crazy woman, and I enjoyed the scenes between Rick and Negan, even though I'm not sure if it was the right way that his character should have gone. I just liked the way it went. There was a lot of tension and excitement, and we're getting to the nitty-gritty of it now, aren't we?
Yeah, well, hopefully it's going to be sort of an action-packed serious. I haven't seen the trailer for the next episode yet, so hopefully that's something to get excited about.
Yeah, Lily Luna's just said that the first half of the season was a real bore. I actually enjoyed it a lot more than season 7, which I thought was complete shit.
I think they tend. Well, that's the thing. That's why I was a bit really disappointed last week. 'Cause they tend to have really strong openers and finales normally, at least. But last week's opening episode, and I know it's obviously a difficult subject to deal with, but yeah, to start off with so little action, with the exception of Carol and Morgan at the Kingdom, wasn't really much else going on. I mean, but this week it's picked up a bit, and hopefully it's going to gain some momentum from here.
Yeah. Did you take it? You said you've not seen the trailer yet for the next one,
No,
right?
so we'll have a chat about that next week sometime though.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
But yeah, I think we better wrap it up because it's nearly 1:20 in the morning here.
Yeah, it's getting. I need to go to bed. I've nearly drunk a full bottle of wine, which means I'm gonna have an headache in the morning.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us, everyone in the chat, and thanks for joining me, Andy.
Yeah, cheers, mate, and thanks for everybody for subbing to my new channel. I think I picked up some of my old subs and some new ones during this chat. So, and cheers for the support, anybody that's listening. I appreciate it, and thanks for having me back, Adam.
Of course. So yeah, take care, everyone. Yeah, if you haven't subbed to Andy's channel, the link is in the description, so you can just click on it there. Take care, everyone, and we will speak to you soon.
Yeah, see you later, guys.